for joining. And we are on Azure DevOps Training Session, and I think it is day 5 of the session. And we have covered about the rise of Agile, and then all the challenges, and then we saw the classic pipelines, and then modern pipelines, all those stuffs. And what we are going to cover today is the environments and pipeline in YAML files. So how can we create or spin up a couple of environments like test, UID, or production environment, and how can we deploy those steps to the environment? So as I mentioned yesterday, deployment groups are more for classic pipelines, and environments are for more modern approach. Like if you're using YAML file to manage all your build and deployment stuff, and environment would be the good candidate for that. So yesterday, we had run into some challenges while spinning up the agents. So probably I'll start with this screen share. Yes,
okay. Sorry, we have not that screen share, so that's what.
Yeah. All right. So So yesterday, what we did was we went into deployment groups. We created a deployment group and registered a VM machine to the deployment group. So the purpose of the deployment group was to organize your target machines. Like if you are having multiple environments and you want to organize those, for example, test, UAT, and production environment, you can create a couple of environments under deployment groups. You can create test deployment group. Let's imagine that you have a bunch of servers for test environment, and you want to take all your changes at once to all those machines. So you can create deployment group as test, and same for production. If you have multiple machines, production machines, to which you want to deploy the application. So in which case you can create a deployment group as production, and you can register all those machines under that group. So when the release happens, the release in here is more for the classical pipelines, pipelines. When the release goes from this area, you'll be able to direct those releases to the deployment group. So you'll be able to target those releases to deployment groups. So that is the reason of deployment group. So similar to deployment group, task groups are something you'll be able to group set up tasks. So yesterday or in the previous sessions, we looked at how can we have tasks within the releases. So just to give you a little recap, under releases, we can or we'll be able to have multiple tasks, right? So imagine a scenario where you want to have multiple tasks which is identical for multiple releases, in which case you would be able to create task group. So task group is nothing but you would be able to nest multiple tasks that is common for all the pipelines. So you'll be able to take those deployments, or don't have to repeat the task every time for the release pipeline. So that is the purpose of task group. We are not going to dive deep into the task group because we are focusing to cover the pipelines and environments for today. I will showcase how can we register machines, target machines to different environments. So what we are going to do today is so probably we do have existing environments. So let's go ahead and drop these environments. I'll go ahead and delete these environments. So we can start creating a new environment and see how we can register machines to those environments, and maybe do the deployments through the pipeline. So that is the agenda for today. And with that, we'll start with the environments, and Praiseson will take over on how can we register environments in DevOps.
Okay.
Over to you, Praiseson.
Thanks, Deepan. So today we're gonna create an environment, and we're gonna register those the VM in this environment. So that is what current focus, and using this environment we're gonna run our pipeline so to deploy the changes to that VM. So that's what we're gonna do. And Deepan, so would you like to use the existing VM, or would you like to use a separate VM?
So yes, we have existing VM, right? So let us not spend some time creating and configuring the VMs.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and
so what should I name it?
So the existing VM. Yeah.
So we can test environment. Okay.
Can we just give test?
Okay.
Keep it simple.
Okay. So yep, after you enter the name, so it will give a registration script. So we need to run this registration script in our VM. So uh, the VM which have previously created. Uh,
Why don't we just close this window and
okay.
launch a fresh? No, not the VM, but just the PowerShell.
Okay.
Yes. So this is the VM we created yesterday or today, right?
Yep.
So let's say we have a VM in cloud, and you're going to register this VM to the environment.
Yep,
Correct?
we need to open PowerShell and need to run the script. So currently there is already a VM registered, right, Deepan? So okay.
Okay. So this looks like the same script that we registered yesterday for the
Agent.
build agent, right? So what does this do, Praiseson?
So I mean the difference you're asking, right?
Right.
So previously,
I
we
mean,
are.
to put it more straight, does it also create any agent pool or any build agents, or does it just register this machine onto the environment?
I mean, it makes this VM as an agent Deepan, as well as it registers this agent to that particular environment Deepan. So that
Okay.
is what it currently doing.
So, are there any restrictions on how many machines can be registered to the environment?
Not sure about that.
So currently we don't
have any
have any
restriction.
restriction. So probably we'll go ahead and register.
So there is already multiple VMs, so we have been conflict in this. So that is what it's showing as CFI.
I see. So this is what we call parallelism. So meaning a machine can be, can have multiple agents. So for example, if this is a high powered or high configuration machine, and you want to have this machine do build job for 5 different pipelines, you can build, five different agents onto the same machine. So for each agent, you would, the system would create a folder names like A1, A2, A3, A4, and A5. So that way it will just, keep the agents separate from one another. So that way, if you have single agent registered and you have multiple applications, it would take a lot of time. Let's say it would take 10 or 20 minutes to complete the entire build. And if you register multiple agents within the same VM, so what does that do is that wherever applicable, meaning wherever it can do parallel builds or parallel deployment, this agent will pick up multiple tasks parallelly and will complete the deployment or build process in parallel. So that can help you save some time, probably 50 to 70% of time if you really, want to go with that approach. So yeah, go ahead and. All right. So one thing to notice here is that this script that Praiseson had pasted here already includes personal access token. So if you just take a look at the script at the bottom, you see the PAT, which is nothing but personal access token. This helps the machine to identify itself onto the cloud environment. நான் தான்ப்பா வந்திருக்கேன், என்கிட்ட இந்த டோக்கன் இருக்கு, ஆத்தரைஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கிறாங்க, நான் வந்துட்டு இந்த கிளவுட்ல அஷ்யூர்லயோ இல்லை இதுலயோ என்ன ரெஸ்பெக்டிவ் கிளவுட் என்வரான்மெண்ட்ல ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்ற ஒரு அத்தன்டிகேஷன் டோக்கன் தான் வந்துட்டு the PAT token. So that proves its identity. And then as I mentioned, this is the fifth agent we are installing on this machine. And a couple of other information here is the virtual machine resource tags. So the resource tags are, a bit interesting concept. Probably we'll circle to that back probably in a few minutes. Go ahead, please.
Any other restrictions? So the user account to use.
Let's go with the defaults and hit enter. Go ahead and hit enter. All right, so it says service test web VM test web started successfully. So let's go ahead and see if this machine is registered. All right, so where can we find that machine?
So in the environment we have created right test environment. So when you go there, there will be resources section. So in that we can know that VM is registered to this particular environment.
Very nice. So the VM we just registered will appear in under the resources section, right? So currently I don't think of any limitations in here, but yeah. And it also shows the deployment status. When was the last deployment
not a deployed,
on
right?
this machine was complete. So yeah, so we have not made any deployments as of yet. So yeah.
And there is also approval and check. So we can also set an which users, a pre-approval check as well as approval. So whenever we push changes, we can have some approvals to run those
Yeah, this
run
is
those
nice.
stages.
We also discussed this on the other classic editor as well, right? So the classic way or the classic pipelines also offered a way to have gated check-ins or gated approvals for the deployments, and the same is applicable for the environments. So if you want to have gated check-ins for your applications, you can go ahead and add approvals and checks. So what will happen is it will prompt you to approve, right?
Approve before deploying the changes to that particular stage. So I have set an approval as myself. So now we're gonna create a pipeline Deepan. So
Can you switch back to the previous screen, Praiseson? I saw something on the approvals and checks side. Can you hit add new? Not just the approvers, it also offers other options like when the deployment has to happen. So you can configure things like the deployment should go within only on the weekends or holidays, or after business hours, and so on and so forth. So for those purposes, you can go ahead and create a gated check-in for business hours. And if you want to have any post check approval, for example, if the deployment is complete and the release manager wants to check all the deployment, whether if it is functioning correctly or not. And once it is functioning, they'll have to give their confirmation. So for that purpose, you can have post-check approvals. So that way, once the deployment is complete, the responsible team would check if all the deployments are functioning as expected, and they'll give their approval or close the deployment status. So these are some of the other things that is nice to have for the so yeah.
right now I've given pre-approval. So before starting it, the pipeline itself, stage itself, it will ask for approval.
So now that we have set up the environments, can we have environments based deployment for the traditional or classic pipelines, Praiseson?
I think we can do that even. So can we create a separate pipeline?
No, so I'm more asking whether can we have these environments for our classic editors, like we had two options, right? Classic editor and then the YAML-based pipeline. So is this only applicable for YAML-based pipeline, or can this be also used in classic editor?
I think it can be used even for classic editor. So
okay, so this can be used only in YAML pipelines. So, okay, the environment is mostly for YAML pipelines, and you will not be able to use that for the releases that you have down there. Okay.
Only deployment groups are available for the classic editor, right? So,
yes, exactly.
Okay. Thanks for that, Deepan. So, we have already created a pipeline. So, do you want to create a separate pipeline, or Deepan, do you want to show?
Well, we can create a separate pipeline. Okay. So before that, probably we'll go back to our slide. So just to give you what is YAML pipeline and then the structure of it and all those stuff. So if you take a look at the YAML pipeline, this is a breakdown. So let's imagine a scenario where you have a chocolate factory and you want to create a chocolate factory, right? So what you would do, you would just drop in all the ingredients for the chocolate and imagine a machine that can do all this stuff and gives you the chocolate with very neatly wrapped. So that's what good packaging is, right? So similar way, the DevOps in the YAML file, you would put in all the configurations or things that needs to happen before the deployment or during the deployment. So that way, after all those tasks is done, you would get the end product deployed onto your target machine. And if you take a breakdown of the YAML pipeline, so these are the breakdowns. It will have multiple stages. So a stage can have multiple jobs. So for example, we can relate stage to like build stage and then deployment stage and testing stage. So each of them is a stage, right? So in the build stage, maybe you can have one or more jobs, and under each job, you may have tasks, steps, exactly. Steps, and each step you may have one or more tasks. So that's how the YAML file structure is laid out. And probably a quick example can be this. This structure is this one, where you have a pipeline and then stage, job. Under the job, you would have multiple steps. You would be able to have multiple job and stages as well. So a quick example is on the right side, where the first would be the trigger. So on which branch do I want to monitor to trigger the pipeline? So for example, you might have multiple branches. So we looked at the branching strategy. So we looked at multiple branches like test or UAT or integration branches, and I want this pipeline to be triggered only for the UAT and integration branches. I don't care if developers push the changes to dev or test branches. So I need the pipeline to get triggered only for the important branches. So for that case, you can just include those branch names in the trigger. Um, and then the VM pool, I think Praiseson mentioned yesterday that you'll be able to define which agent pool you want to have for your pipeline to run. So for those cases, you'll be able to have pools. So probably, why don't you take over and share your thoughts, Praiseson?
Okay. As Stephen mentioned, so this is the first step is to the trigger. So based on which the pipeline should be triggered, and the goal is that I mean the VM, I mean which agent or the machine we are currently using to run this pipeline. So currently we can also use our own VM. So we can, as a previous session, we made our own VM as a self-hosted agent, right? So like that we can give the agent name in the VM image. So to make our agent to run this own self-hosted agent to run this pipeline. And stages is a top level section in the YAML file. So uh, like plural as well as singular. So stages belongs to stage. So it will give like as mentioned, like I mean build stage, deployment stage, like that. Under stage we have jobs. Jobs has I mean a similar job where we can mention like a build job, or I mean is going to be run a particular I mean building a project as well as restoring NuGet packages, like that. So under the job we have steps. Under that we have scripts, as well as I mean a task, Stephen mentioned. So I mean Azure task itself there. So I mean there is a couple of difference between the task as well as script as well as PowerShell script. So currently we are going to use Azure task, so, and the scripts in some cases. So those are the things we're gonna cover in this session theme. So yeah, that's all I want to share about this.
So this is a pretty good example of how the YAML pipeline would look like. So I see that at the VM image. So do you have any thoughts to share with us on whether if that is a Microsoft hosted, what agent will that pick up?
So I think that is Microsoft hosted agent. So based on the naming, I said that is Microsoft agent.
Okay. So what if I don't have the pool at all in the YAML file? Which one will that pick up?
By
So
default, it has a default agent, right? So I can
right. So by default, it will take the Microsoft hosted agent.
Yep. If we don't specify any
agent pool.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Even if we don't specify any agent, also it will automatically set the default agent, which will be conflict. So no, not to worry about that. And we can also have dependency in this pipeline also. So I mean dependency means if this job is done, means based on that success, then only the other jobs should be run. So like that we can have dependencies. So one other thing is that stage does not have dependency, only the job has the dependency. So we can give the dependency at the job level itself. So how is that? Below the job we can mention like consider this CI work, and second this test work, like. So we can below the test work we can add like a property like depends on this CI work. So what we'll do is once the CA work is successfully completed only, then only this job will be run. Otherwise, it won't run. So that is a dependency. We can also mention in the job level itself, not on the stage level, only on the job level. So
okay, so conditional based
to run the pipelines, as well as we can also I mean you can see the pipeline. So even if even consider this build stage as well as deploy stage, right? So even if you want to run this both parallelly, we can run. I mean, if we have if you want to run this both as a parallel, we can set at the job level itself. We can set a different VM to I mean to allocate to each job. So to run. So at I mean if you want to run two jobs, means we can allocate a VM below this job itself to run both the jobs parallel. If currently in this example we have only one VM, so this job will be run sequentially. So once the CA work is done, then only it will run the test job. But if we want to run both the job parallelly, we can have VM configured at the job level.
Oh, I see. Okay. So we can have one agent for the entire pipeline, or if you want to make use of a different agent for some purpose, let's say that machine has some dependency or something, in which case we'll be able to have a VM configured for a specific job. Is that
Yes,
what you
yes.
mean? Okay. Gotcha. So that way we'll be able to achieve parallelism,
Parallelism,
right?
yeah.
If multiple jobs are not dependent on each other, probably both can be started at the same time and can finish very quickly. Okay. That's good information. So I see the pool, right? You mentioned that the VM image space Ubuntu latest is the Microsoft hosted agent. So how can we, give our agent pool? So how can we instruct the pipeline to make use of our probably on-premises or our cloud VMs as the agent pool for the pipeline?
We can just change the name to our VM. So I mean the VM image to be our name, which I've created, right? So
okay, so we will have to change or specify the name of the
VM
agent pool that we have. So what is the agent pool name that we currently have in DevOps?
The settings we can able to see. So,
okay, I see. So these are the agent pool names, and if you want to make use of any one of these agents, probably we can grab the agent name and specify that in the pipeline.
Okay. So that is how we can take the self-hosted agent people. So and you asked, right? So even if we don't give any, the VM or pool name means it will automatically take this default. So we no need to specify the VM. So
okay. So all you would need to do is to replace this VM image, the name VM image to name label and specify the name of the agent pool in here. So that
not like the Deepan. So even we can remove the VM image also. So at the top, pool after that we can specify the pool name itself. So that is how that is.
Okay, got you. So with an inline, you'll be able to specify the name. So pool colon space the pool name. So that way it can pick up the VM agent. Otherwise, the other approach is to specify the name explicitly. So instead of VM image, you can specify the label as name, and next to that you can specify the agent name that you want to use for the pipeline. And the same is for all the other jobs as well. So if you want to use multiple or different agents for each job, probably you can go ahead and specify the agent name under the job, right? Okay, got you. So can you show us a complete YAML file, probably that includes, the build stage, deploy stage, and then testing stage. So can you walk us through the complete file? So probably I think that's in the notepad down below. Yeah. So probably we'll just go through the structure in here, or probably if you want to create a new pipeline, copy this and paste that. So we already done the pipeline, so YAML files. To create a new one. Okay. We're gonna select our repo. I go with the starter pipeline just to have my own. Okay. So can you please walk us through the steps and stages? Yeah. As a top level, so as you previously see, right? So the trigger based on the branch. So currently the main branch. So whenever push any changes to the main branch means the pipeline would be automatically triggered. So we can also change it to any project as well as any changes in the project also we can also include here. So right now we have maintained as branch right now, and these are the variables which can be used
to the, I mean, the below task as well as job. So these variables can be, I mean, if you not only this, we can also use connection strings for DB deployments as well as
Oh, that's interesting. So can we use pipeline for database deployment as well?
yes, so
Okay.
in our I mean, would you like to say that?
I thought pipelines can be used only for the application deployment. So now that we are getting things more interesting,
so do you want to share our, I mean,
yeah, probably we'll jump to the database deployment part later, and
okay,
let's focus on the application deployment and the structure of the YAML file itself.
So below that we have, as I mentioned, so the top level of this YAML file is the stages. So below that we have stage. I mean, that is a part of the stages. So where we give the, I mean, the title of the stage, so build, as well as for deploy, we give a stage deploy. So not, I mean, this is not a mandatory name, so we can give, I mean, our own name also. So that is not any.
Okay, that's just giving the name for this stage.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
And also the display name. So I mean, that is also can be changed. So it will be shown on the pipeline when we run the
logs. Right?
Yep,
so
the logs.
So the logs.
Yep. And below that, as mentioned, so after stage we have jobs.
And I don't think we'll be able to have spaces in between in the stage name,
yep.
right?
So these are space indentation.
No, not that one. So can we have in the stage a column we have built, right? So can we have spaces in between? Yes, in there. I don't think it will be possible, because if you want to reference this stage in the stages below, then having spaces would definitely cause some issues. So
okay.
spaces are not supported. So probably we would suggest you to keep the stage name as simple without any spaces or special characters.
Okay, we can, if you want spaces, means we can use display name to give spaces to that stage name also. So like build stage, how we have mentioned, right? So even if you want to have any spaces also, we can give like this. And below the stage we have jobs, and first job is to build an app, and that is also have a display name. So here we mentioned, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah, okay. So this is where we display or specify the tool specific for this job, right?
Yep.
So the build can happen on a specific agent, and the deployment can happen on
a different agent. So to run parallelly, so build will be run in one VM, and the deployment will run in another VM. So that's what we can do. So even if you can, I mean, we can run in one VM itself, but if we want to run both in parallel, we can specify the VM at the job level itself. So that's where we mentioned. So there is a, I mean, this VM is self, I mean, the hosted agent. So I mean, the Microsoft itself provide our hosted agent. So that is what we have given.
So for the keywords, VM colon space Windows latest, so do we have any references on what can be the list of values for the VM image?
I mean, these are based on the, I mean, the servers and the way servers.
So in the previous example, you showed us, Ubuntu Linux, right?
So that is based on the, I mean, the OS, even so OS,
the application
OS
we want
to run
on the OS.
so,
okay, but where can we find the list of supported values? So what will happen if I just specify Windows -XX? Will that still pick up the Windows machine, or will it run into an error?
It will run into error.
So I think Microsoft has the documentation with the list of supported values that can be passed to the VM image, variable. So probably I think we can include that in the documentation as well.
Sure.
This slide.
And okay, below that we have steps. So I mean, to run this job, we need steps, right? So what are the steps to run this job? So below the step, we have a task. So each steps has multiple tasks belong to that, and as well as scripts. So you may wonder why we have scripts. So the scripts is like I mean, the command line. So which we run in our, I mean, our command we used to run like .NET Restore, as well as, so these are the scripts we can be used, as well as we can use tasks also. So these tasks are Azure tasks, and these are the command line scripts, and we can also include PowerShell scripts also. So there are three ways we can able to run this I mean, steps. So currently first task is to, I mean, use our I mean, the package, which is .NET 8. So to run our application, we have some dependency, right? So we're gonna currently use .NET 8 SDK to run this application, but right now we have not used that. So after that, you see below script, that is .NET Restore. So by using the script also we can restore our package, or we can use Azure task. So previously you can see like Deepan, so the NuGet restore task as well as NuGet command task. So that is how that is also another way we can use to restore our
So
package.
can you quickly show us how to inject a task in between use .NET 2 and the .NET Restore?
I mean below here. Or?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the right hand side we have show assistant, so where we can able to include Azure task. So before that, we need to click on the area where it will automatically uh,
Inject the task.
inject the task. Yes.
Okay. So let's go ahead and select that ACR task that we see right there. Build and run container images. So what does it say? It prompts for the service connections. And then container registry. Container, of course, we don't have container registry as of yet. No, we are not, trying to add anything. So we'll just look at the list of values.
Okay.
So it is trying to get the source and all those stuffs. Okay. So if you want to, include include deployments for the containers, probably this could be the task that you would inject your pipeline. And if you want to have some other, probably go ahead and click about this task. And this will show you what can be done with the pipeline task.
So
probably this is the complete documentation, not what I expected that to be. So we'll share the Azure task reference so that we can make informed decision on which task to choose for your pipeline. So it offers a variety of tasks. And sorry, you can.
Yep. So you can have like NuGet restore means like here we have NuGet, right? So we need to specify the the NuGet command. So that is what command we're gonna use, like restore. So I'm gonna restore, and from which solution it's gonna take our restore our package. So we're gonna specify our solution as well as the feed. I select here. So
okay, so this is going to find the packages for the solution.
Yep.
So whichever the packages that is being in use for a solution, so it will just try to locate these files, either packages.config or project.json, and whatever the dependencies are, packages that you have inside those will be restored as part of the pipeline of the build process. And I see that use packages from NuGet.org, right? Yes. So is there a way we can specify, some other provider?
Your own package.
Right, maybe could be. So let's say that I have my own package deployed onto Azure Artifacts. So can we specify, our artifacts?
In this you can, so feeds I select here is automatically takes from
okay.
So feeds in my NuGet.org, so you can specify the path to a NuGet.org. So that's how.
Okay. Gotcha. So, for example, if you have a NuGet feeds, so let's say a company offers a paid version of a NuGet package, and you want to reference that package in your project, probably you can go ahead and include that package as part of the pipeline by following these steps.
Yep. By default, I will go with feed I select here. So
okay.
When we click on add, so it automatically add the task like the NuGet restore command. So we need no need to go and enter this. So this task should be space indentation. So we need to be keep aware of that. So this task should be belong to a job, right?
Okay.
So the spaces are
indentation is very important for the YAML pipeline.
Yeah. So this task and inputs, and this is a command that is going to restore, and this is where it will restore the package like from the solution. So this is a command. By this also we can able to restore our NuGet Deepan. So by this way also we can able to restore our the package instead of scripts also we can use like this. So that's what I try to say here. So
okay, so the previous step on the script side, it mostly uses I think the .NET based command. So we usually build applications in .NET using the .NET command and space build commands. So that is the same command we are trying to use in the pipeline. And if for some reason we want to use .NET task, probably I think we'll be able to use that as well. So if you want to use task, I think the pipeline offers build task as well, right? Use .NET 2 and you'll be able to specify the command like the build command. So that way the task can execute that command and it can move on to the next one.
And this as mentioned, so we have a scripts to run the test unit test also. So where I mean, this configuration is a build configuration. So where it will take the file, I mean, the script file to the test file to, I mean, the build the solution to run the unit test cases. So by this also we can able to do. By also we can able to run I mean, use this via task also. So
Okay, so we are running unit test after
using the
the
script,
build setup is
the command line
complete.
script. So
Okay, so when the unit test passes, then we would publish the artifacts
yeah.
to.
So this is the last step. So we used to publish our artifacts, right? So once everything is done, so we used to build DLLs to artifacts, and we publish that. So with the artifacts name. So yes, you see like a dollar and the artifacts name, right? So this, I mean the naming, I mean the variable. I mean we can access the variable using this Deepan. So dollar, I mean open close bracket, and the I mean the
So
name of
what is
the
that artifact name? Meaning, what does it mean? What does it artifact mean?
artifacts means, I mean in general you're asking, or
Yes. So with respect to pipelines concept, what is
so
artifacts mean?
artifacts is, I mean, where the DLLs will be stored. Depends on
So
the
basically,
project
the outcome or
of the,
the
I mean, the build
deliverables of the project that was
projects. Yeah.
built. Okay.
So when
So
we
artifacts is
publish,
your, it could
yes,
be EXEs, DLLs, or anything that is the outcome of your project build is what would be.
yes, it will be stored as an artifact. So,
Okay.
yeah. Next we go with the deployment stage. So this is the stage to
So I
deploy.
see multiple stages and jobs within the pipeline, right? So previously you showed us the build pipeline, and within the build pipeline, meaning within the build stage, we had various task and job, all those stuff. So let's say that I have a single task that I want to, execute. For example, let's say whenever the code is pushed to the server, I just want to build the code and do nothing else. So even for that purpose, would I need all these stages and jobs and steps, or can it be achieved with just that one task?
Depends. So I mean, to achieve that we only need steps and tasks. Depends. So
Okay, so it is not a rigid requirement to
to
have
have all the
the
stages,
entire
jobs,
structure.
as well as steps as well tasks. So
Gotcha.
just we need, I mean, if you want to start with the basic, we can go with steps and tasks. So,
Okay,
so different steps, and below that we
that
can
makes
have tasks. So,
sense.
yeah. Right now go with the deployment stage. So as we mentioned, right, so the dependencies. So based on the build, this deploy to stage should be run. So we can give like dependencies. So depends on build. So based on the build, it will this deployment stage will be run. So that's what the command here. And
Okay,
as we have,
meaning what if the build stage is failed? Will it still run, or will it just skip or cancel?
I think it will cancel. I think so. So
Okay. If the build is not successful, then it will skip this entire part,
yeah,
as it is a dependency on the build
build
stage, right? Okay.
and we can have multiple conditions also. So like succeed, different conditions below this, I mean depends also. So I mean different validations also we can have different, so filters. So
Okay. So I think the branching strategy also comes into play when we try to define the deployment strategy or deployment stage here. So let's say that I have multiple branches like develop, QA, UAT, and production. And whenever the code is pushed to UAT, then I want to deploy changes to the UAT environment. So how can I achieve that within this stage? So we don't have or don't see anything specific to the branch names in here, right? So at the top, you mentioned we can include the branches. So let's say that I want this pipeline to trigger on multiple branches. Let's say, after main, I also want to include develop branch and then QA and then UAT branch. So whenever there is a changes pushed into any of these branches, I want to trigger this pipeline and want to take the deployment to the relevant environment only when the change is pushed to that. For example, if I have pushed changes to UAT or merged changes to UAT environment, then I want that changes to be deployed only to UAT, but not to production or test environment. So how can I achieve that within this pipeline structure?
yeah, we can do different. So below that we need to, I mean as you mentioned, so we want multiple branches, right? So we can include I mean branches here. So right now we have included plain branches. So this YAML file consists of, I mean the structure might be confusing to you. So below the trigger we have branches and include. So this hyphen and this name is, so this called as a list. So in YAML we call this list. So right now we can give a space independent, right? So we can give like a test branch. So and we just need
So
to.
whenever a change is pushed to these two branches, this
The pipeline will be
get
automatically triggered. So
okay. So what if we want to monitor a particular folder inside the branch? So for example, you would have a solution can have multiple projects inside it, right? And I want this pipeline to trigger only when the change is supposed to one particular folder. So would it be possible for us to have that configuration at that level?
even so, we can give the project DLL also. Yeah,
Right.
so
Yes, the project name or the path to the project.
path of the
So
project as
will
well
we
as
be able to include the path along with the pipeline trigger?
I mean, yes, Deepan. So, I mean, the path of the DLL or
The project actually, the path of the project or the folder.
yeah, we can give Deepan. So, below here, we can also specify the path of the project and also the DLL. I mean, if you made any changes on that particular DLL, also this pipeline will be triggered.
But this is more for the branches, right? So how can you specify the path of the project?
So, I think below the branches we have another area like paths Deepan. So
Okay.
so we can have like paths, and below that we can have include command. There we can able to.
So this is where we specify which project to include or monitor for the changes.
Yes.
So if your solution contains multiple projects and you want this pipeline to trigger only, when there's a change on a particular project, then you can specify the path include, right? Okay, got you.
I can specify the path as well as the DLL here. So based on the changes, it will automatically trigger the pipeline. So that is there. And let's go with the last, I mean, the deployment stage. So the deployment is a separate task. I mean, below that we have, a deployment task is also there. So where we can, name it as a deploy to dev. So and we can also, as Stephen mentioned, we no need to have spaces. So if you want spaces also, we can give like display name below that, and we can change. We can give spaces to that, and you may ask where the environment is currently using. So I mean, at which environment this deployment going to be take place, right? So this is where the environment comes in place. So we're going to give the environment, and right now is dev. We're going to specify our own environment which we have previously created, right? So that environment should be given here.
So this is where we specify where we want to deploy
our changes.
this stage to, right?
This environment. So and we have strategies, so like different deployment strategies. So right now I'll go with run once. So
yeah, so deployment is I think pretty interesting. I know that I keep asking a lot of questions. Probably I know that I know some of the gentlemen also have some questions.
So any
so
questions?
I'll go first. The deployment will have some of the tasks inbuilt or injected within, so that you don't have to specify everything. The deployment strategy here is there are multiple strategies that you can see. Probably we can go to Azure pipeline structure, so to show you what are the different types available.
Okay. Like strategies, Azure strategies. YAML files.
So deployment jobs. So this is schema, and this is a list of options that you can have. So for example, if in case you want to roll back your changes on failure, you also have these steps. So in which case, let's say that you are planning for deployment to production, and for some reason the deployment goes wrong. It could be because of multiple reasons. It could be because of the dependency, or your hardware resources, or anything. In such case, you can configure or define what needs to happen when things go wrong. So you'll be able to define that on the failure step in here, and if you want to, generate any email notifications or something on successful deployment, you can also do that in the success, step in here. And similarly, you also have pre-deployment. So if you want to check or run any scripts prior to your deployment, you should be able to include that in your pre-deploy steps. And as you could see here, it has tool name for every step. So that means that if the steps are not dependent, you should be able to define the pool for each step in here. So that way you'll be able to make your deployment quick or a bit faster. So that's what the structure is. And for the strategy, we have a couple of strategy like run once, canary, and deployment. So what we saw here is run once deployment strategy. So what will happen is that it will just run the deployment once. So probably we'll dive deeper into that in the future sessions if we really need to dive deep into that topic. And the couple of other strategy options are rolling deployment strategy and candidate deployment strategy. So a candidate deployment strategy is a bit interesting. So the concept that this would work, the name actually is a bit interesting. What the canary means that there is a bird called canary. So what that will do is that they'll send one person to the some forest or something, and that bird will go and check if the environment is safe for the other birds to come. So that it will go and check and confirm the other birds that hey, the environment is okay, or the environment is venomous or something. So that way the other birds would know and they would join the bird that went at first. So similar fashion, candidate deployment strategy is something that the new changes will be made available for a specific set of users. Let's say that your audience base is 1,000 or something. The new changes will be rolled out to a set of people like 10 or 20 people. And if the changes doesn't have any impact or anything, then it will roll the next set of changes. Like for example, it will roll the changes for another 200 users or for another 500 users or so. So that way you'll be able to take your deployment, step by step to all the audiences or to all the users. So that's the candidate deployment. So you probably can check out the documentation here if you want to dive deep into or want to understand more onto the deployment strategies. Coming back to our pipeline. So yes, go ahead, please.
So as previously mentioned, so we're going to use the strategy run once. So only once it will be the strategy will be run. I mean the deployment will be run, and these are the steps that belong. So currently we're going to download the artifacts. So we're going to specify the artifacts name. So currently we are using the variables. So I mean, since if we're going to use at multiple area means we're going to use the variables. So so we call the variable name, and the script. You can see like echo, right? So in the command line, if you give echo and type this means it will just how we write a console.write line like that. So it will just show the same message.
So basically, it is to see what is happening behind the scenes. So
like commands,
whenever when the pipeline runs, it will help us understand what is being performed.
We can also give like a command. So like this script means this is running like that. So for our understanding, we can able to see in the console.
Right, gotcha.
Okay. Below that we have so after that it will automatically deploy. So like that we can have multiple deployments. So currently we have in this we have deployment to dev and deployment to QA. So each belongs to different environments. So as you see, like this environment is dev and this environment is QA. So and this depends on this. So once this is successful, only this QA environment will be this deployment will take place.
Okay, so I see that we have the dev environment and the QA environment, right? So what if I want to deploy changes only to QA environment and not to dev environment? So will I be able to add any conditions or any criteria to ensure that the changes are deployed only based on these branches or features like that?
Like can I come again, Deepan? So would you like to, after any build you want to run this
right? For example, at the top we mentioned multiple branches. We mentioned we included main, develop and test, right? So
Yeah.
let's say main and test,
Okay.
and I want the changes to be deployed only if the changes are merged to test environment, test branch. So how can I include condition to that stage?
Okay.
So I don't want to deploy things to develop. So I want to skip that stage and deploy changes only to the
got your point. So that's why I previously mentioned. So I mean, what they've been saying is that we have multiple branches. So once we create a, I mean, consider test and UAT. So these are space independent. So that's what. So, so with the test and UAT, right? So whenever we push any changes to test, Deepan is saying like this should be run in the QA environment, right? So,
right, yeah. So I don't really want to deploy, things to UAT when the changes is being pushed to
okay,
test.
based on the branch, we can also include a condition depends. So in the depends on, we can below that we can add some conditions. So like and like different condition like succeed, like that succeed, and we can also give a branch name. Here depends. So not only depends on the build, it will also depend based on the branch also.
Okay. So it will also look at the branch to which the changes are being pushed,
Yep.
and based on that, it will deploy things.
Yep. So once you check with first, you check with the build stage whether the build is succeed, and then it will check whether the current branch is triggered or not. So
okay, got you. So whether the current branch is test or UAT, so based on that,
it will the deployment will be happen. So even if we push any pre-UAT, this won't run. So we give as test. If we give this as test means it will run only we push changes to the test even. So I mean I have not given the correct I mean syntax right here. So I will share it with you. So this is not the correct syntax, but it will most be similar like this, like and condition, and then it will have some more like the reference, and we will give the branch name that. So this is not the correct syntax. So I will share it with you, team. So yeah, so this is the different stages, and based on the stage, we can have multiple deployments. So that's how the current pipeline structure is.
Okay, so we are just repeating the other stage.
Yep.
The previous one is deploy to dev, and the next one is deploy to QA. So the stage repeats, but the environment is different.
Yep.
Okay, so once the deployment is complete, I think we're following script visit test, right?
Yep.
So what is next? The test stage. So once the deployment is complete, we are running test post deployment test and integration test.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so we'd also be able to specify agent for this stage as well.
Yep, different agent, right? So as you can see, so I mean in the previous YAML styles also, we won't see the VM image under the stage. Only the VM image can be specified under the jobs only. So not under the stage even. So a job or as well as task. So we cannot specify below the stage. So that is the only check we have here. So we have different VMs, so to run all the tasks parallel.
So I think what we saw here is initially started with the build stage, and then after build, it ran the unit test. So it made sure that all the unit test passes, and then after that the deployment. So after the unit test, it completed the deployment. So after the deployment, it also includes next stage to check for any integration related stuffs like integration issues or something. So we have the integration test running after the deployment stage. So that way we can verify the deployments were success or if it had some issues. All right, great. So probably in the future sessions, we'll see how can we integrate some, tests into the pipeline and take it forward. And I think it is important to understand the structure of the pipeline and then different stages and various components involved within. So that way we'll be able to configure things. Right. So I think we have the pipeline now. So where do we go next, Present?
So can we run the pipeline? So which we
yeah. So can you show us where can we? So I think we covered the approvals, right? So in the environment we can
have approvals.
provide the approvals. So that's the pipeline structure, and this is how. One second, please. So this is how it would look like when we have multiple stages defined. So it would display the stages in here. So the first stage is the build stage, and you see success. And for some reason, the deployment stage triggered error for here. So when we go to the details, it would tell us what is being performed. So as you can see, it is showing the commands that you mentioned within the pipeline, and you see what is happening within that command. So the restore build command is trying to build the project, and we had no errors. So it also ran the unit test, and then the next step is to publish the artifacts. So as I mentioned, artifacts is the outcome of your project. It could be in the form of DLS or EXEs, and the deployment is the next step. So looks like we ran into some errors.
While downloading.
So we can fix that. But I think it's a pretty intense topic today on the pipeline.
And another thing, Deepan, so I
Yeah.
want to show. So, I mean, without stages, it will look like this only. So, I mean, it will go like jobs. Just with this job only, Deepan. So,
Okay, you just have a
one
single
job. So, yep.
Okay.
If we mention like task also, so it will. I mean, as even if I mean the stage is the only where we can specify different sections like the reply to UAT or reply to test like that. But if we don't give any stages, means it will look like this only.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So I think today we covered pretty deep onto the pipeline, the YAML pipeline section, and then environments. I think we can wrap up with this. Today let people digest with what we have covered today, and probably we can open the forum for sessions. Questions if any. So I know it's hard to follow along after lunch. I hope you all did so. So any questions? All right, so I take that as no. So probably you can take some time and to digest what we have covered today. So we have covered environments and pipelines in YAML pipeline structure in detail, and the deployment strategy is pretty interesting. So the approaches that I mentioned about canary or the blue green approaches will help achieve zero downtime. So meaning whenever there is a deployment, the application will go down for some time, right, for reasonable time. And if people or if companies are not ready to offer the downtime, then they can go for approaches like zero downtime deployment, which is nothing but canary and other types of deployment. So if some of your organization is looking to achieve zero downtime deployment, let us know. So probably we can work with you and try to guide you through how we can achieve zero downtime deployment. And the other thing Praiseson mentioned is the database deployment stuff with the pipeline. I know pipeline offers DAC pack to be able to deploy your database changes, but at Simpay here we have also followed a different approach for taking the database changes to production. So probably we'll cover that in detail if we have any requests around the topic in the next sessions. All right, so I think we are good. I don't see any questions. We'll wrap up, and thank you so much for joining today.